Imagine this. It's not the 21st century. It's the year 174 AD. Outside, the Roman Empire is shaking. The northern tribes are attacking. The plague is spreading. Inside a small tent on the cold frontier, the most powerful man on earth is writing. No marble palace, no golden throne, just a tired man, a flickering lamp, and a notebook. His name is Marcus Aurelius. His body is exhausted from war. His mind is pulled in 100 directions. His heart is heavy with grief, betrayal, and the fear of losing everything. He could drown in it. He could numb himself with pleasure, power, distraction. Instead, he picks up a wax tablet and carves these words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. Now pause. Centuries later, you wake up. You're 30, 40, maybe 60. Your empire isn't made of legions and marble. It's made of emails, deadlines, bills, and unread messages. You're not in a battlefield. You're in traffic. You're not wearing armor. You're wearing a tired smile. Yet deep down, Marcus's question is now yours. If I can't control the world, can I at least learn to rule myself? This video is your tent in the storm. Together with Marcus Aurelius, we'll walk through 3 brutal Stoic rules he lived by. Rules that rebuilt his mind, disciplined his body, and kept his heart alive in a world falling apart. These are not quotes to save. They are rules to obey. If you're ready to stop sleepwalking through your life and start leading it like an inner emperor, let's begin. Rule 1, become emperor of your inner world. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire of millions, but the kingdom he fought hardest for was only a few inches wide, the space between his ears. He wrote to himself not to impress others, but to survive his own thoughts. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind, he said. Today, most of us have quietly surrendered that kingdom. We wake up and hand our mind to strangers on a screen. Our inner world becomes a crowded marketplace where everyone is selling us fear, outrage, and comparison. To rebuild your life, you must first take back the throne of that inner kingdom. So how do we do that in practice? Let's start with the morning. Marcus began his day by reminding himself that people would be selfish, rude, and ignorant, and that the world would be chaotic. But he also reminded himself of one crucial truth. His response was his choice. Every morning before you touch your phone, imagine yourself as an emperor holding council at the start of the day. Sit in silence for 2 minutes. Feel your breath. Let the noise in your mind settle slowly, like dust sinking to the bottom of clear water. Then ask yourself 3 questions and write the answers down. What kind of person do I choose to be today? What situation might provoke me today? How will I respond with dignity when it happens? When you finish, you write one single line as your emperor's order for the day. It could be, today I will respond, not react. Or today I will honor my time. Or today I will not trade my peace for someone else's chaos. This is not a diary. It is not a place to vent. It is a command to your own mind. You are not a victim of the day. You are its ruler. But even emperors face invisible enemies. Marcus knew that most suffering does not come from events themselves, but from the story we tell about them. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, he wrote. Our lives are often controlled by silent, invisible prisons that sound like this: I'm too old to change. I've always been this way. People like me don't succeed. These are not facts. They are unquestioned beliefs that have gone unchallenged for years. To break these walls, practice what we can call a thought audit for 7 days. For 1 week, every time you feel anxious, angry, or small, pause and ask yourself, what am I telling myself right now? Write it down in 1 sentence. Maybe it's, if I fail this project, I'm worthless. Then ask the Stoic question, is this true? Or is this just a thought I've agreed with for too long? Rewrite it into a calm, truthful statement. If I fail, I'll learn and improve. Or, my worth is not measured by this one outcome. You are not trying to think positive. You are trying to think honestly. You are no longer a slave to your first thought. You become the judge of your own mind instead of its prisoner. Now that you've seen how to shape your thoughts, you must also protect what enters your mind in the first place. Marcus didn't have TikTok or endless notifications. His distractions were war, politics, and disease, and he still fought to stay present. Today, your main enemy fits neatly in your pocket. If you want a strong mind, you must treat your attention as a sacred resource. For the next 30 days, try one simple rule. No social media, no news, and no messages for the first 60 minutes of your day. In that first hour, you move your body, you read something that makes you wiser, and you review your morning counsel note. This is your emperor hour. If you can't control your first hour, you won't control your day. And if you can't control your day, you won't control your life. As you live this way, repeat this to yourself as a quiet vow. My mind is not a highway for everyone's noise. It is the inner court where I choose what enters. When you begin to act like the emperor of your inner world, your outer world slowly starts to change. Rule 2, treat your body like a soldier, not a decoration. Marcus Aurelius was emperor philosopher and also a man who had to march, ride, and endure cold illness and exhaustion. He did not worship his body. He trained it. He reminded himself. At daybreak, when you find it hard to get out of bed, remember that your nature is to act. Your body is not an accessory for selfies. It is the tool through which your purpose enters the world. You cannot think clearly with a foggy brain, and you cannot love deeply inside a constantly exhausted body. So to rebuild the body the Stoic way, we turn ancient wisdom into 3 simple but powerful rules. First, food as a contract, not a comfort. Marcus lived among soldiers, not chefs. For him, food was fuel, not therapy. But today, many of us eat to escape boredom, stress, or loneliness. Stoicism doesn't say never enjoy food. It simply says be conscious. Before each meal, pause and ask yourself, does this move me closer to the person I want to become, or keep me stuck where I am? You don't need a perfect diet. You need an honest contract with yourself. So for 1 week before the first bite of anything, pause for 3 seconds and say, I choose this. Not I deserve this. Not I can't resist this. But I choose this. That tiny pause reconnects your fork to your willpower. You are no longer eating unconsciously. You are practicing self-command. Second, sleep, the warrior's reset. Marcus wrote that we waste much of life not in action, but in fatigue. You cannot live like a warrior if you sleep like a gambler. Every late night you trade for another episode is energy borrowed from tomorrow without permission. So make one stoic decision, set a non-negotiable wind-down time. Maybe 10:30 p.m. screens off, lights, dim book open. Treat it as seriously as a meeting with your emperor, because it is one. You are the emperor of your life. Show up for yourself. When you protect your sleep, you sharpen your judgment. And when your judgment sharpens, you suffer far less from your own bad choices. Finally, voluntary hardship, training for the unexpected. Marcus faced war, disease, and the death of his own children. He prepared his mind and body for hardship before it arrived. The Stoics called this voluntary discomfort. You don't need to seek misery. You simply need to stop running from discomfort. Each day, choose one small challenge. Take a 30 to 60-second cold shower. Walk instead of drive short distances. Do 20 squats or push-ups when stress rises instead of scrolling. Or fast from snacks between meals. Each small act whispers to your mind, I can endure more than I thought. I am not fragile. Your body becomes a partner in your growth, not a cage of addictions. And as you live this way, say to yourself, my body is the armor of my soul. I train it so I cannot be easily broken. Rule 3, live with a heart that cannot be numbed. Power did not protect Marcus Aurelius from grief. He buried children. He lost friends. He knew betrayal. And yet, instead of collapsing under the weight of suffering, he wrote to himself, be like the rock against which the waves break. It stands firm and the raging sea falls still around it. But notice something important: a rock is exposed. It does not hide in a cave. Stoicism is not about having no feelings. It is about keeping your heart open in a painful world. So let's turn this wisdom into 3 practices, brutal, honest, but deeply freeing. First, the silent interrogation, finding your real heart. We live in an age of noise, and the first thing that dies in noise is honesty. To find your heart again, you must be willing to sit alone with it. Once a week, set aside 15 minutes. No phone, no music, no distractions, just you. Ask yourself 3 questions and write down whatever appears. If I could not fail, how would I live differently? What am I pretending not to care about that actually matters deeply to me? If a camera followed me all day, would I respect the person I see? If your chest tightens as you write, that's good. That's not weakness. That's truth knocking, asking to be heard. Marcus wrote his meditations as letters to his own soul. In these moments, you will be doing the same. Second, forgiveness as self-defense. Marcus was emperor. He could have crushed his enemies without consequence. Yet he constantly reminded himself to understand before he condemned. Someone hurt you, and maybe you hurt someone too. The story replays in your mind again and again like a movie with no ending. Stoicism doesn't say pretend it didn't happen. It says stop letting it own you. So for the next 30 nights, do one simple practice before bed. Write a single sentence tonight. I release a little of my anger toward Konashim Uti, your once. Or tonight, I choose not to punish myself again for Shio. You don't have to feel ready. You only have to be willing. Forgiveness is not saying it was okay. It is saying I refuse to let this wound define my future. You are not excusing them. You are freeing you. Third, sympathia, the heart that serves. Marcus believed deeply in sympathia, the idea that we are all threads woven into the same web of life. What harms the hive harms the bee, he wrote. A life lived only for yourself will always feel strangely empty. To rebuild your heart, you must turn it outward. Every morning practice what I call the 2 names ritual. Write down 2 names. One person you will help in a small, meaningful way today, and one person you will appreciate honestly. Then act on it. Send a message of gratitude. Listen without interrupting. Help with something small. Share something that helped you. Purpose is not discovered in a book. Purpose is discovered in service, one human at a time. Your heart doesn't just beat to keep you alive, it beats to keep you connected. So say this to yourself, not as a metaphor, but as a vow. My heart is not a fortress. It is a bridge. I will use it to connect, not to hide. Now you see the pattern Marcus lived. Mind own your thoughts. Body train your vessel. Heart keep it open and in service. Each one feeds the others. When your mind is clear, you make better choices for your body. When your body is strong, you can carry the weight of your heart. When your heart has purpose, your mind has a reason to endure. You don't need to become perfect. Marcus wasn't. He doubted. He failed. He struggled. But he did one thing relentlessly. He showed up for his own soul every single day. If you want a simple way to start, every morning, 10 minutes of the Morning Council Rule 1, every day. 1 act of voluntary discomfort, Rule 2. 1 act of service or gratitude, Rule 3, every night. 1 sentence of forgiveness. 1 sentence of reflection. Did I live today as the person I want to become? That's it, not perfect, just consistent. Because in Stoicism, transformation isn't a lightning bolt. It's a slow, steady fire you refuse to let die. You are not meant to drift through your life like a ghost. You are meant to govern it. Mind as your counsel, body as your armor, heart as your compass. You are not Marcus Aurelius, but like him, you have a mind to train, a body to discipline, and a heart to awaken. If this message resonates with you, don't let it be just another video you forget. Comment below just 1 sentence. Today I choose to rebuild my mind. Share this video with someone who is tired of pretending they're okay. Be the rock they can lean on. Subscribe to Making Life Better. Every week we'll walk this stoic path together, not as perfect sages, but as imperfect humans choosing to grow. Remember this, you are not just a character in life's story. You are the author of who you become. Pick up your pen, stand tall, and take your next step as the emperor of your own life.